continue on the topic of bhakti that we briefly spoke about yesterday, the difference between sadhan bhakti, the goal of sadhan bhakti, and today we'll go a little more deeper. What are the different stages or the milestones in bhav bhakti? And it'll be a good topic for us to see where we are in that milestone, so to say. Okay, and what are the stages? What are some of the symptoms you can expect on this path as you keep on progressing, and not mistake those for God realization, because God realization happens at the peak of those symptoms. So we will continue on that discussion. I'm going to share my screen and we will get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. So because it's going to be a topic on bhakti, I think it will take probably about 2 to 3 sessions. I will pick different shlokas from Bhagavad Gita related to bhakti or bhaktas. We'll take that opportunity to go back and forth in Bhagavad Gita to talk more specifically about the concept of bhakti itself. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and welcome again everybody. If you are new, please feel free to, when the chat opens up, to introduce yourself. We'd love to hear from you. And anyway, you have an avenue of feedback tracker as well to put down your name and contact, and we'll definitely be in touch with you. Let me share my screen. All right, so let's get started with our opening prayers. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radha Radhe, good morning, good evening once again, everyone. So today I picked up shloka. We have fast-tracked into 18th chapter. I picked up something related to bhakti because we are going to discuss this topic. So I thought I'll pick up a shloka related to bhakti. And over the next couple of discussion, I'll pick up shlokas related to bhakti or bhaktas themselves that Lord is talking about, so that we can go deeper into this topic. So let me recite it and you are welcome to follow along. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvatah tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadananantaram. All right, in case you are wondering that are we closing in on Bhagavad Gita, that's not the case. We are on 4th chapter. We are recapping 3rd chapter, and we picked up a bhakti related verse, and because of which I'm going into 18th verse, and we'll pick up some verses from other chapters as well before we resume our journey back on track, 1 verse a day from 4th chapter onwards that we are on. Okay, so let's get started through recitation today.
Radhe Radhe Samji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tattvatah tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram.
Very nice. Radhe Radhe. Thank you.
Radhe Radhe Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe Aparna ji.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvatah tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram.
Tadanantaram. Very nice. Thank you. Aparna ji.
Thank you.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji.
Radhe Radhe Sandhya.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvatah tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram.
Very nice. You all have become professionals, whichever shloka is thrown, you guys are able to recite it, which is pretty outstanding. Very nice. All right, let's pick up the remaining hands.
Radhe Radhe, Surya Prakash ji.
Radhe Radhe Surya Prakashi. SSPG.
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावान् यच्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Radhe Shyam ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Shyamji.
Bhaktya mamabhijanati yavanyashchasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gyatva vishite dadanantaram. Radhe
Very
Radhe.
nice, Shyamji. Radhe Radhe. Wonderful. And it's so good to see Rupa ji back after a while.
Radhe Radhe,
Radhe
Rupa ji.
Radhe everyone.
Radhe
Yeah,
Radhe.
it's been a long time. My school holidays are going on now.
I'm glad school holidays are going on because you are here. So thank you. Let's pick up the remaining
Yeah.
last 5 hands and then
Bhaktya mama bijanati yavanyastasmi tattvataha tato ma tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram.
very nice, Rupa ji, and welcome back.
Radhe Radhe, Sumesh ji.
राधे राधे श्याम जी राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe Sumesh ji.
मामभिजानाति यावान्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्.
Very nice, Sumesh ji. Looks like it's really cold there. Stay warm.
Yeah,
I can see that. Okay, last 4 hands. Let's
Radhe
increase
Radhe,
the
Arun
number of hands and
राधे राधे
Radhe.
भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावान्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्.
Wonderful, Arunji. That is quite some progress. Very fluent for the time that you've been on these sessions. It's very nice. Great. All right. 3 more hands and then we get started.
Radhe Radhe, Anita ji.
Radhe Radhe. Bhaktya mamabhijanati yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Nice, Anita ji. And I have included you in our spinning wheel today, okay? You asked, so let's see who comes. By the way, we had a miracle yesterday. Manish ji, he raised his hand and when we spun the wheel, his name came and it was Lord Ram's day yesterday because he had prepared that bhajan and Hanumanji wanted him to sing that. That was quite a miracle. Anyways, last 2 hands. Let's continue.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
Radhe Radhe. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram.
Wonderful.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Last but not the least, Sri Ramya ji.
Radhe Radhe, Ramya ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavam yashasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato gnatva vishate tat anantaram. Thank you.
Very nice, Sri Ramya ji. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. So let's get Paragi ji. Okay, we can take one more, last one. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Bhaktaya mam vijanati yavanne cha asmin. Sorry. Bhaktaya. Yes, please.
No, please go ahead. Carry on. Let's finish it.
Bhaktaya mam vijanati यावन्यश्चस्मि तत्त्वता ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तद् अंतरम्.
Very nice,
Thank
Pragiji.
you.
Thank you. Radhe
Thank
Radhe.
you.
All
Radhe
right.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So this is I picked up from 18th chapter in which Lord Krishna is telling, it's towards the end, by the way. But since it is the topic that we are going to discuss today is going to be related to bhakti, that's why I picked up this shloka. And over the next couple of sessions, as and when they happen, we'll pick up shlokas related to bhakti only or bhaktas only. Now, in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, only by loving devotion to me does one come to know who I am in truth. Okay, loving devotion is the key condition there. Then, having come to know me, my devotee enters into full consciousness of me. Right? So, God has, it's if we know God, we have realized God. So, conversely, once we realize God, then only we know God. If we believe in God, we realize God. So God has made it very simple. If you truly believe in me, you'll realize me. If you truly know me, you'll realize me. When you realize me, you'll truly get to know me. So that's how it works. So let's get started. Before that, let's wish happy birthday to Swami Vivekanand. I got a few quotes today. स्वयं को जानो, तुम शरीर नहीं एक अनंत आत्मा हो, इस वास्तविकता को प्रत्यक्ष अनुभव करने का नाम ही धर्म है. So he's spoken that beautifully about religion. Thou art not the body, not matter, thou art spirit's bliss, blessed, eternal, and free. Matter is your servant, not you the servant of matter. So gross body is our servant, not the other way around. Okay, we are serving our gross body. Actually, gross body should be serving us. That's one. Then I got another one, which is relevant to the topic that we were discussing. Everything is easy when you are busy, but nothing is easy when you are lazy. All right, so these are a couple of quotes. Then I have picked up top 5 quotes from Vivekanand, which I love. And we've been using those during the discourses as well, the sessions that we do. Swamiji uses during his discourses as well, some of these. So this one is the first one. In a day when you don't come across any problems, you can be sure that you are traveling the wrong path. Okay, this is a very profound one. That means if you're having problems in life, then you are on the right path. Okay, if you don't have problems, there is a problem. There's a problem if there's not a problem. Okay, and that should be our attitude, because we have to solve problems and gain strength, wisdom, experience, and that is how the design of the universe is. This is the first one. Another one is, if anything turns you weak physically, intellectually, and spiritually, reject it like it's poison. It's a very good thumb rule and yardstick, especially around dealing with situations, circumstances, and people. If you apply this rule, it will simplify the life. Is it making us weak physically, intellectually, and spiritually? Reject it. And if it is actually adding to it, embrace it. Very simple thumb rule. Okay. Then there's another one. Arise awake and don't still till you reach your goal. This is a beautiful one too, right? If you have to take motivation. Now this one is again, talk to yourself once a day. Otherwise, you may miss meeting an excellent person in this world. Okay, so don't miss out on the opportunity of talking to yourself, because you are amazing. That's what spiritual scriptures tell us. Right? We are amazing. We just have to rediscover ourselves. And last but not the least, this one is also I like. The great secret of true success, of true happiness is this: the man or woman who asks for no return. The perfectly unselfish person is the most successful. And I would even go on to say most happy as well. Okay, this is how it's a bit counterintuitive, but when we have a hoarding mentality, then we don't become happy or we don't become successful. When we have a giving away, what goes around comes around. You get more. That is how it works. And it's a beautiful quote from Swami Vivekanand. Okay, after wishing happy birthday to Swami Vivekanand, who's, we know how, because of one Shishya, good disciple, his guru, was known globally. So that was the impact that he lent it. And he's, one of the well-known faces and names in Sanatan Dharma. And his teachings, quotations, as you can see, is pretty amazing. And you can derive a lot of inspiration from. Now, let's get started with the topic today. Yesterday, we spoke about the preparatory sadhan bhakti. We said This is the starting point, sadhan bhakti, and the goal of sadhan bhakti is bhav bhakti. Okay, that is the goal of sadhan bhakti, the preparatory devotion that we are doing right now. Okay, the goal is sadhan bhakti. Then the next stage is you get into bhav bhakti. Okay, bhav bhakti, the perfection of bhav bhakti is siddha bhakti or prema bhakti, which is divine love of God. We get it when we have perfected our devotion. So starting point in sadhan bhakti, then we reach bhav bhakti, and then we reach different levels in bhav bhakti that we are going to talk about today. And when we reach the perfection of bhav bhakti, we get to siddha bhakti or prema bhakti. Okay, this is how it goes. So in other words, the perfection of bhav bhakti or the end goal of bhav bhakti is to get the prema bhakti. We also looked at this concept a little more, just to understand how it goes. So in sadhan bhakti, we have to force our mind to God. It will run away to the world. You have to pull it back. Okay. So, however, when we start getting into bhav bhakti, it happens just the other way around. Your mind starts remaining in God, and you have to pull it back in world to operate effectively. That is the symptom of bhav bhakti. And from a desire standpoint, your material desires, they start diminishing. As you start progressing in sadhan bhakti, your material desires will start diminishing, and your desire to meet God will start intensifying. Till at the peak of bhav bhakti, it reaches a point where it's like unbearable, intolerable rather. It's like I cannot spend even a second without God. Even a second will feel like eons or ages. Okay, and that's when God will manifest in front of you. That is how it goes. Now, let's talk a little bit. Now, the purpose of sadhan bhakti, if you look at it, it's preparatory devotion. It's like you are trying to remove attraction from material objects from the mind. Right? Like Lord Krishna had said, Abhyasena tu kante vairagyena cha grihiyate. So, the vairagya is, taking mind to God. That means you are withdrawing it from the world. That is vairagya. Attaching, so basically taking the mind away from world is vairagya. Attaching to God is the practice, right? Rupa dhyan, or the practice that you do. And coming back to the world is automatic. Okay, so there's the 3 stages. You withdraw from world, you attach to God, and then coming back from God into the world happens automatically. And then you intensify that practice. When it comes back again, take it back to God, comes back again, take it back to God. That is essentially the sadhana. Sadhana is actually trying to tame your mind or doing that practice. Yes, Jonji, you had a quick question.
Sorry for my ignorance. I'm just asking this question. I wanted to ask it a long time ago, and today seems to be the right opportunity. When somebody has passed on, they have deceased, why do we wish them happy birthday? Pardon my ignorance. I just wanted to ask this question a long time. Because they're no longer here. Because I've
fine.
seen,
It's our love for our, I get it.
Oh,
I get your question. So it's our love for our grandfather, grandmother, whomever it might be, or some great personality. Okay. But when it comes to saints, it is an occasion to be celebrated because they descended down. They were not obliged to come down. But if we are celebrating it for a material person, it is our sentiment. It doesn't add much value as such. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for explaining. No, because I see posting, rest in peace, a happy birthday to my father, my mother in heaven. I see all of, so I just wanted to know what was the purpose of it. So I apologize for asking this question, but it's out of, just gaining knowledge, wanting to know. No disrespect, just wanting to know.
Sure. Remaining questions I'll take at the end of it because we have
Yeah, okay.
And then we'll pick up questions towards the end so that we have covered all that we have to, and then we can get into the Q&A segment part of it. It's good basically to give respect to people. The irony is we tend to give respect to people after they have departed, rest in peace and all that stuff. And when they're alive, we put them in turmoil. Okay, I mean, not always, but yeah. But yeah, it's generally a good practice to pay respect, and posthumously people draw more respect than when they are alive. That's the ironical part of it, right? That's where Alfred Nobel, he read his own obituary. I mean, it's a good practice to write your own obituary. How would you like to get remembered as? And when he read his own obituary, actually his brother had died. But when he read the newspaper, it was like, Alfred, that dynamite man has died. So he said, okay, if I had died, this is how world would remember me. Is this the legacy I'm going to leave behind, that I invented dynamite, which would cause so much of destruction? And then after that, he actually instituted a Nobel Peace Prize. He actually devoted his life to peace purposes. So reading his obituary changed his perspective about, how he wants, what kind of a legacy he wants to leave behind. Anyways, let's get back to the topic of our discussion today. It's going to be fascinating today because we're talking about stages of bhakti. One of the common questions that people ask, how do you know where I'm progressing or where I am right now? Hopefully it will shed some light, because we are going to talk about bhav bhakti, a bit about sadhan bhakti as well. What are the symptoms you can expect on this path? Okay. And then you'll be able to appreciate what Lord Krishna is telling us in different shlokas, because he's actually taking you closer to that state when he's asking you to give up desires and stuff like that. Now, even in Brahma Samhita, it is said, because it is related to bhakti, right, that I worship Govind, who is the primeval Lord, who is Shyam Sundar, Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their hearts of hearts with eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So love is the governing emotion here. Even if you look at it in this world, love drives everybody, right? It's not surprising that the entire Bollywood industry up to a certain point was based around love only, right? People want to love and get loved, and some people love falling in love because love itself is so enticing, right? So it is a governing emotion even in this world, although it is not perfect or perfectly directed. And in case of spirituality, this is the emotion. Even this, see, we are actually, that is why everybody craves for love, because we are seeking that perfect love, and God is no different. He said, you'll get the divine love when you become completely selfless, and that's when I will become your slave at that point. And how would that happen? Only through love. There's no other way. Through love and devotion. Now let's talk about the concepts that we are going to talk. Now, what is the scientific knowledge? People say, I mean, I'm willing to believe in God if I can actually see him, like this scientist is looking at, right? If I'm able to observe it, see it, then I'm willing to believe in God. So scriptures give us a formula. You want to see God? Like we are seeing each other. Like Vivekananda said, asked his guru, right? Can I see God like I'm seeing? He said, of course you can. How do you see God? There's a process for that. Okay, very simple. Love. Okay. So I was introduced to this love, when I was in school, and I was very embarrassed. The first introduction I had to love around, I approached somebody, you have those scrapbooks that you write. So I approached a girl, with a lot of expectation. And I said, what do you mean by love? So you put those scrapbooks, right, and ask those questions. And she simply wrote loss of valuable energy. I said, what a definition it is. Anyway, I don't forget that definition ever. But that understanding was completely wrong. Okay. Love is something very profound. Scriptures talk about it, and it's a very highest type of emotion, as long as it is not selfish. Okay. Now, this is how you see when your eyes are smeared. See, it's like the cataract. Why we are not able to see God? Because we are suffering from cataract. And how will this cataract be removed? It will be removed when we actually develop love for God. And the day we have intense desire to meet God out of that selfless love, then God will manifest himself, right? So our material desires, our conditioned mind is something that is like a cataract which prevents us from seeing God. The more we move towards devotional service or bhakti, the more this cataract will get cleared and more we can start realizing him. This is a very simple formula. So if somebody says, I don't see God, the next question would be, have you followed the process that our scriptures have laid out how to see God? And if you have followed the process and you have still not seen God, then you can say there is no God. Follow the process, see it for yourself. Okay, that is how convincingly our scriptures have told us, and multiple saints have reiterated the same. Now let's move on. Now the word, let's start with sadhan bhakti. The sadhan itself means sadhana, rather. sadhana bhakti, it means practice. It's a very elementary level in which a seeker is trying to focus on the divine form and trying to do Rup Dhyan. And it is basically, you can do your Ishtadev, and devotional remembrance is the key. Okay, this is a preparatory phase. Now what happens is you come in contact with a Rasik saint, and then you understand the principles around it. Maybe we can devote a session completely on Rup Dhyan, one of the sessions. And then you start gradually reaching the higher and higher states where, the sincerity and that regularity starts coming in. But it all starts with faith and practice. Okay, faith, of course, and then practice, like any other thing. See, when we were kids, we did not even know how to stand up. Gradually, we learned how to crawl, stand up, jog, run, and some of them became Olympic gold medalists also. How did it happen? It happened with practice, and this is also no different. But in this case, it's relatively easy when you start practicing it. Okay, now the seeker, they start to experience. Now what happens in sadhan bhakti? One of the symptoms. Okay, first of all, it starts with faith. You need to bring in sincerity and regularity to your practice. Then what happens? Now the seeker is starting to experience some kind of an ecstasy in the meditative state, and even otherwise, which starts increasing day by day. And as you keep on prolonging your practice, it becomes so easy that ups and downs in life, they don't have any bearing on the sadhana. Okay, they are there, but your sadhana takes the forefront. It's like you get addicted to it. It may start off as a need, but it starts becoming greed just because of the benefit you see with that. Okay, it is all sadhan bhakti though. And this is basically the start. When it starts becoming a greed and you keep on investing and immersing yourself in it, then the next level that comes is called Bhav Bhakti. It is the stepping stone into Bhav Bhakti. Now what happens in Bhav Bhakti? Now you have kind of reached a particular milestone where your mind is no longer automatically getting back to world. Now it is gravitating more towards God, and you are actually having to withdraw it from the God or the God consciousness back into the world to operate more effectively. That would be the starting symptom of that. Then what happens? Let's look at it. Now, a lot of things happen. Shanti, Virakti, Avyarth, Kalatvam. Okay, I'll probably pick up 3 of these today because each one of this could invoke a discussion in itself. Then Virakti would come. Then Man Shunyata would come. Then Asha would come. Okay, if anybody's name is Asha, then you can feel. So then Samud Kantha would come. Then Gungan, Namgan, Ruchi, and Leela, Sthal, Prem. All these steps would happen. These are the different symptoms of Bhav Bhakti. Now let's pick up maybe top 3 today, because we want to do justice to each one of these. So what happens when you enter the Bhav Bhakti? We have spoken about Sadhan Bhakti, where it starts with faith and it requires practice and discipline. And then it starts becoming, you start feeling a bit of an ecstasy. It's like when you start feeling an abhas of God that will tell you, I have never experienced something like this in material world. Okay, that will serve as an inspiration to invest more in it. And then there would come a stage when you have stepped into Bhav Bhakti. Now what happens into Bhav Bhakti? The first thing that would happen, now the other part of it is no amount of penance or devotional practice can give rise to these symptoms. Okay, they cannot. And it's only when you work with a genuine saint, then you can grow on the path of devotion. So it's not a do-it-yourself project. It's not a DIY project. Okay. It's something that you would have to work with your guru, and with his grace, you will keep on progressing and deepening your bhakti. Let's start with the symptoms part of it. As we see this, okay. One more thing I wanted to touch upon is, now Bhav Bhakti, if we were to put it in perspective, the end game of Bhav Bhakti is Prema Bhakti, or the Siddha Bhakti that we spoke about. And the goal of Sadhan Bhakti was Bhav Bhakti, and goal of Bhav Bhakti is Prema Bhakti. And Bhav Bhakti is one ray of the sun called Prema Bhakti, because Prema Bhakti has a lot of dimensions to it, which we are not going to touch upon today, maybe in future session. As we conclude this discussion, it is just one ray of Prema Bhakti. the Bhav Bhakti that we are talking about. Now let's get started with the symptoms. The first one is called Shanti. That is the first milestone. Okay, now this is where we can do an introspection and see if we have reached Bhav Bhakti, the first milestone or not. Shanti, it means tranquility. In Ujjwal Nilamani, that's another scripture on Bhakti. This is, if you look at it, I'm not going to attempt to read it, but let's look at the meaning. It says, when one reaches this state, even if there's a genuine reason for anxiety, the person remains calm and tranquil. That's the first symptom. Like, for example, we'll pick up an extreme example, even if the whole family and wealth is annihilated, like it happened in case of Narsi Mehta, then even for a split second, he does not lose his cool and level-headedness. Then the person is said to have attained Shanti. First criteria. Okay, we'll get back to that. I'll pick up all three and then we will have a bit of a discussion on these. Second one is called Avyart Kalatvam. It means that every moment spent without loving remembrance of God is a waste of time. That feeling starts deepening in your head. Okay, so that means people start refraining from unnecessary worldly association, gossiping, a lot of other stuff. That basically is a moment devoid of God seems like a waste of time. You know how much purity you need to reach that stage. But this is a second symptom of Bhav Bhakti. Okay, second milestone, so to say. Then the third one is Virakti. The seeker does not have to desist from sensual pleasure. So it's no longer a business of exercising the willpower that I will not have it, or I will keep sweets locked up somewhere where I can't reach or find them. You lose interest. Okay, there is a natural disinclination for enjoying the objects of sensual pleasures. You don't have to exercise your willpower. The very seeds of those sensual hankerings are burnt at that stage. In fact, it is said, I mean, it sounds a little boring, but this is how it is. In fact, people at that level, they don't, I mean, I don't say they don't value taste, but they lose a taste. It's not that their taste buds go away, but for them, food becomes a means of sustenance because they are enjoying even higher bliss. See, our senses will not give up the rasas or the bliss that it is getting today unless it gets a better ras. So that means they have started tapping into that. And for them, these material rasas, even related to the tongues and what, they carry not so much of meaning. They become insipid in front of it. Okay. So basically all the stuff, these are our senses. And all this stuff of objects of senses, you lose interest in them. Okay. So I'll stop at this because I know it's a lot of content. I want to have a bit of a discussion on this topic because people had questions. I've just introduced these concepts and I'll keep building on it. But any questions so far before I get into some more deeper topics around this? Any questions so far? I'll take a quick pause. Yes.
Radhe Nitinji. K. Ganpriya ji was asking about the Avyarth slide, the slide right before that, the second one.
Avyarth Kalatvam, okay.
Yes, I think he wanted some kind of screenshot.
Sure.
Okay. Radhe Shyam ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, the way this 9 step has this to go step by step, or you can just jump anywhere and even between.
No, I don't think
process.
These are some of the milestones. I don't think it has to go step by step. You could lose taste even before losing anything. I think it could happen all simultaneously. But these are some of the symptoms I'm talking about.
So it can be anywhere, any point of life, you lose whatever.
True.
And maybe one is enough for us to lose whatever.
The reason these symptoms have been documented is to help the sadhak to see that, first of all, you could evaluate your own progress. And second, don't mistake it for God realization. Okay, there is still job to be done. Because the peak of Bhav Bhakti is when you get Prema Bhakti. So you may start displaying some of these symptoms and you may start having some siddhis also. Okay, we'll talk about siddhis in some other. Siddhis in the sense, mystic ability is where you can read mind, you touch somebody's cloth and you are able to tell, or those kind of, there are 7 or 8 mystic abilities which it, and then the last one is where you can even create something. So those kind of mystic abilities, but the point is you are still in material realm. Don't think it is God realization has been completed. In fact, Maharaji always used to say, Chamatkar ko namaskar. The objective is not to use those siddhis and impress people or develop false pride. Devotee, it keeps on rejecting all siddhis because they are part of bhakti only. They're not even mukti at that point. Okay, but these are some of the symptoms as you keep on developing in devotion. Okay, for us to see, okay, these are some of the milestones. If you started hitting, great. If not, then those are some of the things we could aspire, not aspire, but it will happen all. See, with bhakti, the beauty is you don't even crave for these things. They happen all by themselves. You keep taking the pill, it will do its job. And that pill is the pill of devotion at that point. Yes, I see a few other hands.
Radhe Radhe, Usha Kiranji.
Radhe Radhe, sir. So, Nitinji, my question is, see, I mean, your first slide where you gave all the steps and the ultimate thing is.
Sorry, did we lose you? We are not able to hear you.
Can you speak again, Usha Kiranji?
Yes, yes, I was muted. Okay, so am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this slide where you said intent desires to meet the God, and then that happens. So I'm just asking because you're on this path and you're close to Guruji and you heard about him. So what happens? I mean, how does someone meet God? I mean, what happens there? Like, because I'm just asking this, if my goal is clear, my milestones I can achieve fast. I mean, so that's when I'm little not clear on that stage. The final stage, what exactly happens?
The cool breeze will start blowing, the bells will start ringing. Just in movies when hero meets the heroine kind of a deal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll document it when it happens, but it is like you have hit a jackpot at that point. Jackpot means you are beyond Maya and you have become Mala Mal. It's like there's nothing else for you to be achieved at after that. And that is a level of bliss nobody can explain. If somebody could, it's like, I think in Narad Bhakti Darshan, it is said that if somebody experienced that, they cannot even articulate it. It's like a dumb person trying to tell somebody how does a jalebi taste. So it's not something, it's something to be experienced, and God only gives you power to even digest that bliss. So basically you have hit a jackpot. You are beyond Maya that point, and all this drama that we have to go through and feel the pain and misery through, it's a done deal at that point. And I think that's the best prize a soul can have for the rest of eternity at that point.
Did Guruji ever talk about that? I mean, did he explain
I mean,
that?
he talks, he tells about, how scriptures explain it as best as, it can be articulated. But with material words and things, nothing can be explained to the depths that it truly is, right? Then, like they say that the color of Krishna is blue, and then it says it's actually rain laden cloud, and then they say the softness of his feet is like tulip flower. So those material examples are given just so that we can get some kind of a sense around it. But truly what his color is, we can't even know until we have a divine vision, because it's a divine thing and you can only relate it to something material. So yes, in his commentary, he does explain, but then there's a limit to what words can explain, right? It's more of a matter of experience when we reach that stage. But the good thing is, as you keep on progressing in bhakti, what you start experiencing from within will keep on reinforcing your belief on this path. And then one step at a time, we will get to that stage. That's the whole idea. But the thing is, you will be beyond Maya. That is the biggest incentive. And you can participate in God's leelas and pastimes for the rest of eternity, which seems to be a pretty attractive proposition, I imagine. Yes.
Radhe Radhe Sai Ramji.
Radhe Radhe Sai Ramji.
Radhe Radhe. I had a question on whether we can consider attending daily wisdom from Bhagavad Gita class as a kind of sadhan bhakti, especially given that speaking for myself, I'm addicted to it, and doesn't matter what is going on usually. I am somehow by grace of God able to attend it. I don't know how. Usually I've never been this committed to anything. So
That's a good question. Yeah. So it is part of satsang only, right? But not a substitute for your ekant sadhana, regardless. It is part of satsang. In fact, Lord Krishna says, when you read Gita with faith and reverence, it is considered as a gyan yagya or a sacrifice of intellect. So that will do its trick. It will start purifying you. It will start building that shraddha, faith that is needed. The knowledge will start getting converted into wisdom and realization. All those things will happen. So yes, it is a good investment from that standpoint, I would say. And in addition to that, we need to continue to do our sadhana as well, right? And seva. So it's like a flanking approach from all angles. But yeah, this is good because anything that helps us take our mind to God and build our faith, contemplating upon that is going to be purifying for our mind regardless. This will be a helping aid in our sadhana as well. So it's good actually to get addicted or desire things which take our mind to God, I would say. See, that's why how I look at this as well, seva as well. When you're thinking about a shloka, contemplating upon it, examples around it, that is also kind of a sadhana, right? You're training your mind to think about God. So yes, it counts. Everything adds up. All right. Hopefully, yes.
We have a comment in the chat from Ankuji. He asked that how to bring continuity in sadhana bhakti, in bhakti.
How to bring continuity, right? Nirantarta, Ananyata, and Nishkamta. These three things are there. You are talking about Nirantarta. So Nirantarta, I think we'll have to force our mind. Sadhana means to train your mind. So this is all training process. Sadhana means you are trying to tell your mind to work against its natural nature. If that was not the case, then it would be called sadhana, right? Sadhana means is to tame it. So you start training your mind, and I think the hope is that when you have trained it enough, that nirantarta would start coming in. See, it's like when you fall in love with a person, no matter what you are doing, you're thinking about that person at the back of your mind, right? I don't know. If a mother is there, she will never forget even for a moment that she's a mother of 2 or 3 or 5, right? So that is so deeply embedded in them. So the hope is where we have contemplated on this topic so much with faith and conviction that it becomes our second nature, synonymous with our own identity. Not for a moment we forget whether we are a boy or a girl, right? Or what our identity is. So that is the idea where we need to take our consciousness, because Sarveshu Kaleshu is the ideal or the target state for all of us. But with practice, it's with practice, nothing like anything else in life, it comes with practice. That is what Lord Krishna says, right? So we have to trust him on that.
Radhe Radhe Prakashi.
Yes, Prakashi.
Radhe Radhe. Nitinji, thank you so much. This is very insightful to know about these stages for Bhava Bhakti. But I think I'm still in the Sadhan Bhakti stage, right? So are there any similar stages within Sadhan Bhakti to Bhava Bhakti?
Sadhan Bhakti stages, see, the simple rule there is, I mean, I've not seen any detailed documentation on it, but the simple rule is how much love you feel for God. That means that much detachment has already happened from the world. And then some of the common things that we keep talking about, the Devik guns, right? How much you're able to let go, how much you're able to reduce your anger threshold, how much, you are able to forgive people, how much humility you can exercise, how much, how less you feel gaining respect as opposed to providing. Those are some of the things we can apply that in Sadhan Bhakti. But Bhav Bhakti is very properly documented because it's a very advanced stage. Those symptoms are very, very tangible. And these symptoms can be applied even in Sadhan Bhakti, where we can say, okay, are we progressing or regressing? How much angry I used to feel, do I still feel the same, or I'm kind of getting better at that?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
There is one more comment from Ganpriyaji in the chat. What all is included in Sadhana Bhakti? Is there a list or we choose any?
There are 3 S's, S3, Seva, Sadhana and Satsang. if you do these three, they are more than enough to do basically. Right? If you basically sadhana is very, very recommended because even Lord Krishna, and we are going to get to that shloka as well, Ekant sadhana, he has laid a lot of emphasis on it. Then sadhana you cannot do for 24 hours. So you add seva to it, because seva is something that you are doing which has nothing to do about your own selfish gain. So that has a lot of purifying effect. Seva is considered even higher than sadhana after a point. And satsang will make sure that you don't erode whatever spiritual gains you are making because of seva and sadhana. Because kusang is something like a termite. It can eat into your sadhana within no time. Within no time, it can eat into your sadhana. So to protect our sadhana is equally important. So these three S's are good ones to add if we are serious about our spiritual journey. Our sadhana, seek out a seva opportunity, whatever little seva you can do on a regular basis with commitment, not like with convenience. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, make it a commitment. And third is satsang, where you can attend our Sunday satsangs, or if you have a local satsang center, even better, in-person satsangs, or surround yourself with people who are uplifting and adding value to your life and not eroding that by giving you negativity or taking your mind to world or backbiting or talking bad about other people or journal gossiping. We need to protect ourselves because we may think estimate the effect of it, but these small things do erode our chip into our spiritual progress. That is how powerful Maya is. So these three S's should be good enough, I would say.
Okay. Radhe Radhe Vinisha ji.
Radhe Radhe Vinisha ji.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji. So I had a question about sadhana. So does sadhana increases our desire for God, and does it attracts God's grace?
Yes, very true. So sadhana basically is, there are only two areas. There is no third area. Some people say, my mind, I'm not attracted towards world. Then what are you attracted towards? No, but then I'm not even attracted towards God. So is your mind impending? No, you're not attracted towards world because world is not very favorable right now. You are still attracted to the world, but you're just waiting for the right opportunity. So when you do sadhana, automatically the amount of percentage withdrawal you have from world will depend upon how much attachment you have to the God. So if 10% attachment to the God, 10% mind would automatically get withdrawn from the world. So yes, your attachment to God should increase and your detachment to world would automatically happen as a consequence of it. So this is a simple yardstick. As you progress, keep on progressing in sadhana until you reach bhav bhakti, and then your detachment to the world will go to the another level altogether. But initially also it will happen, and as you keep on progressing, God is seated within. He notes our effort and how much desperately we are trying to do that, and he keeps gracing you to uplift your journey. And Guru and God are always watching you to help you on this path. So very true. When we exert ourselves, we draw God and Guru's grace.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
There is one more comment in the chat from Janakji. Why do we sometimes oscillate between sadhana bhakti and siddha bhakti?
Oscillate between sadhana and siddha bhakti. Okay, maybe it's possible because we've not probably reached that threshold where our predominantly our mind is in God, then I think we've already reached bhav bhakti. If it is oscillating, then probably we are still in sadhan bhakti, because one of the symptoms of bhav bhakti is that you have to retract your mind from God into the world just to operate effectively. But if we are oscillating, that means we are primarily doing sadhan bhakti, might be at the tipping point of bhav bhakti. I mean, that would be my wild guess at this point.
Radhe Radhe Sumesh ji.
Radhe Radhe Sumesh ji.
I have the question that in the stage of how bhakti, first is Shanti. What is Shanti means?
We are not able to hear you. Is it just me or?
Yes, your voice is very feeble.
Your voice is echoing, Sumesh. You may want to fix your audio because it's not very audible. We're not able to follow you.
You might want to fix it, and we can connect with Medical.
Now is good.
Now it's better.
Yeah.
So in the stage of Bhav Bhakti, the first stage Chante, so it is different from Santi or Chante,
Yeah,
or it
it's
is
Shanti. I don't know why it's called Shanti, but it is Shanti. It's peace and tranquility in English. So yeah, I think I'll have to research why it's called Shanti and not Shanti directly. But yeah, it is peace and tranquility, which is synonymous to Shanti in Hindi.
yeah,
Yeah,
peace and maybe cold.
peace and tranquility. Yeah,
Tranquility.
tranquility is peace only. It's just a loaded word for peace. Okay, they say don't use a word worth $1 if you can do it with a quarter. So peace, let's just stick with peace only.
Thank you. Nitinji.
No worries. Thank you, Sumeshi.
There are a lot of comments coming in the chat, so we might not be able to answer everything. So please fill out the
Take a
feedback.
shot of it, and or you can fill it in the feedback tracker. If there are questions, we can get it addressed, because we're going to spend some good amount of time in all of these symptoms, plus what happens after Prema Bhakti. Okay, the possibility. So we'll go whole 9 yards of Bhakti. You can put it in the feedback tracker, or maybe take a screenshot. I can revert back to you.
Yes. Radhe Radhe Monika ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe Nitinji. Radhe Radhe everyone. So Nitinji, I was listening to one podcast, and this gentleman used to do sadhana, and he also mentioned that after we reach a level, the negative energy tries to pull you down because they want your downfall and they don't want you to become that positive. But it's only Guru who can save you. So my question was, let's say I'm doing sadhana here, and my guru is in India. I mean, Swami Mukundanandi. So would Guru have that connect with the disciple to save him or her from that downfall? How is that? How does the connection happen? Because I'm sure there's a lot of disciples of Guruji, right, Swamiji? So how does that happen? Connection?
No, it's a good question. So first of all, this negative energy concept, let's understand this. Negative energy is not something separate, okay? Not like Satan or anything like that. Negative energy could be your bad sanskars which might come in. Bad sanskars also keep on fluctuating, right? Now, we think it's a very good question that you've asked, okay? Now, if you have a Shrutri and Brahmanist guru, okay, this is how the relationship works. It is a mental connect, okay? And if you truly understand the definition of guru, we will pick up at 4.34 when we talk about guru. Who is guru? Okay, guru, if he's Shrotriya Brahmanish, there is no difference between God and guru. So you can't limit him to the physical body, even though they may appear in a physical body. A lot of people can tell you through their experiences what kind of experiences that they've had with their guru on their spiritual journey. Okay, first of all, that's the point. Second thing is, we think we are doing seva of guru. Okay, actually, guru is doing our seva every moment. Okay, this is how it goes. How are they doing our seva? When our bad sanskars come and we are doing our sadhana properly, they fight with our sanskars. Okay, there is a suraksha chakra they form around us to the sadhaks who are diligently following that word. So actually, we think we are doing seva to our guru. Guru is actually doing a bigger seva to us. That is how this relationship happens. And it is not limited to the physical body. I'll tell you that way. Okay. With Guru, it goes much beyond that. And it is a relationship that is not limited to this lifetime as well. This is a relationship that goes beyond this lifetime, because Guru, once that relationship is established, they don't leave your hand until you have crossed over Maya. That is how strong that relationship is. So yes, they have all the powers. In fact, Guru, even if they have departed this world in their physical body, they take care of you. Okay. And they can do everything remotely. Only thing they have to do right in front of you in person is the Premadan. When you are ready, final step, when you're going to get Prema Bhakti, then he may manifest in front of you at that moment, wherever he is, whether in on this earth plane or not. At that moment, they will manifest, and at that moment, they can give you that through a, eye contact, through a slight touch, slapping, boxing, kicking, whatever. But other than that, everything else they can do remotely. That is
Manifest who manifest themselves.
manifest themselves. Yeah, manifest themselves.
Okay. When you say themselves, it's Swamiji and Krishna.
See, that you'll have to wait and see, okay, what happens.
Okay. Okay.
But the grace of Krishna is via Guru. That is what our scriptures tell us. Okay.
Mhm.
Krishna is not going to meet you directly just like that. It's only
Right.
through Guru. When he
Mhm.
gives you the grace, and the divine love of Krishna comes via Guru. We'll talk about this concept as well when we go into those shlokas.
Mhm.
But yeah, this relationship is not physical. It goes much beyond that. And that is why I say that have this deepen this feeling that God and Guru are watching you and they are your witness as well as your protector all the times.
Mhm. So let's say, Nitinji, just a following question on this. Let's say a disciple is not able to meet Swamiji that frequently. For example, he's now there in India, and disciple goes into deep sadhana. So would Swamiji know?
You have to go into deep sadhana to see if you are able to converse with him online.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
Now, then you can come and tell us your experience around it as well, right? So get into that and then you will realize nobody can limit our communication with Guru at that point, okay? Sometimes you may even get messages from them that are needed for you in forms and manner that you would least expect. So yeah, this relationship is spiritual and it's almost sounds surreal and magical, but this is how it works.
Thank you, Nitinji.
Okay, maybe one more and then quick announcements. We have Lohri function tomorrow. So because of that, we will not have our program tomorrow. This daily wisdom, we will resume next week, Monday. And if you are in or around Dallas, please come and celebrate with us. A lot of seva opportunities as well, enjoyment opportunities as well. And then we have the trivia, quiz and Antakshari coming up over the weekend that if you have not enrolled as a team, please do so today. Time is passing by. Don't lose out on this opportunity, and it's going to be very competitive. Antakshari. Do sign up for that. Any other announcements, real quick, before we take questions and then we spin the wheel? All right.
Shashiji wanted to see the slide milestone number 3. If we can put that, then she can.
All right, sure. I can get to that. Virakti. See, Lord Krishna is giving us all the tools. He's right, all the shlokas that we dhyato vishayan punsa sangaste shupajayate, all that stuff that he's talking about. He's telling us all the tools how to quickly get to these stages. So if you simply follow the shlokas, all the knowledge that is embedded, those principles are going to take us to these stages only that Lord Krishna is talking about. Okay. Any other announcements? Key announcements that we wanted to make? Let's do that and then take a few questions and then we get into our devotional segment. We'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes on that. Maybe three times we'll spin the wheel and see whose name comes up today. But let's make the announcements quickly and then take the remaining questions.
Yes, the key announcement for the weekend celebration is about the Jagat Guruttam Divas. So I just now shared the details in the chat. We will be having a trivia, we will be having an Antakshari. And the good part about trivia is they are already sharing the resources from where the questions will be framed. So you can always go through, study hard, and then all the best for the trivia and Antakshari. I hope we will be having a lot of teams from Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita sessions, probably 20 or 30, but you never know.
Yes, and whoever wins it, if you win it from Daily Wisdom, any one of you, then you get a privilege to sing here without spin of the wheel, okay? So that's the incentive, if that helps. Okay.
2 hands can we take, Sri Ramyaji?
Sure, let's take those hands.
Radhe Radhe Ramyaji.
Radhe Radhe Ramyaji.
Radhe Radhe. My question is, like sadhana, it differs from person to person, and like attending these classes is also sadhana, right? And how much sadhana can we say is sufficient?
Okay, is
I mean, I'm
sufficient?
attending these classes, but I'm not doing anything else. Is it sufficient for me?
No, we need to do a little more than that for sure. If you ask about the scriptural rule is 1/10. So 1/10 of 24 hours is 2.4 hours. But, factoring the traffic and other things, even if you do about 1.5 to 2 hours, I think that is good enough. But you will feel the need to do more as you progress on this path. So we definitely need to spend about at least, some time for our ekant sadhana and other things that we get involved in. But 2.4 hours is as per our scriptures, because 1/10 of our time. But if it's not 2.4 hours, maybe around, 1.5, 2 hours, 1 hour at least every day, in addition to what you're doing at this session. Okay. But don't stop joining this session. Okay. If you want to do something else. All three things have to go hand in hand: seva, sadhana, and satsang. So this is part of satsang and knowledge contemplation that we do every day, which is a good routine in that sense.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Yes. Annapurna ji.
Can I have a link for July family camp? I want to register. If you have it on the chat box, I can copy and do it.
Yes.
I don't have it in the top of my head right now, but Annapurna ji, if you are on the CIC group, we can find that for you and send it to you if that works.
Now it is in the chat, yeah, so you can click
Oh,
on
it is okay. If it is in the chat, I'll copy it and do it.
Just post it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Annapurna ji. Yes, Sairam ji.
Sairam ji.
Radhe Radhe. I had a quick question on that. Like 1/10 of the time per day we do sadhana, which is 2.4 hours. That's just the minimum bhar, right? That means like we shouldn't be showing any tushti to that type of.
No, that is the minimum. It's the hygiene criteria.
I
There
see.
is no, the limit, that is the minimum limit that's defined by scriptures. There's no upper limit set for it. That if you do more than this sadhana, then you start getting negative results. Okay, nothing of that sort. You can practically do it for however long as you want.
No, I'm just asking because I was wondering if you meet the criteria. That's going to be obviously enough.
No negative marking over that. That's the minimum criteria, yeah.
Thank you, Nitinji. Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. And I think we anyway have to do more, because
I think so too.
to do as well, right? Because so much time has already passed by in our life, which has been frittered away. So yeah, the more, the better it is. So yes, Champaji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe, excellent, lovely session. What I would like to say is attending your class is also a spiritual activity. See, Krishna is not advocating the renunciation, sannyasa, because you cannot practice meditation and things like that without the association. So in any ashram, the association is the most important thing. Yeah. And since we are not fortunate to live in the ashram, this is like a part of the ashram. I really consider all this JK Yoga, whatever I attend, is like, I feel literally, without exaggeration, as if I'm living in the ashram with all of you, because it's very, very important for the spiritual growth, the association of the devotees.
True.
I just wanted to make this point.
Thank you, Champaji. That's the best compliment you have given to the JK Yoga sessions. Yes, it's like an ashram brought to your home. And you just need to turn on video, and not even video, just click on Zoom and you are into the ashram every day.
Yeah.
Over long.
Really. I feel like, in Hinduism, they advocate different ashrams like Brahmacharya and all that. At my age, I should have gone to Vanaprastha ashram. After joining JK Yoga, I feel I'm in the Vanaprastha ashram only, because JK Yoga has throughout the day something or the other. Now all the festivals are celebrated, and you need not even waste your energy to teach your children what about the festival, because they're doing it in such a grand manner. Just switch it on and make them sit with you. They will learn. Beautiful. So Vanaprastha ashrama can be practiced if you get associated with JK Yoga. That's what I feel. I told Swamiji also, he laughed very loudly, when I said that.
See, just think of Maharajji's grand plan, which is unfolding, and Swamiji's, he's basically being instrumental in making it happen. Before COVID, just imagine he had this online thing established as if he almost knew that this is where the world is heading towards. So the COVID came and these sessions just proliferated. And that's one of the silver linings for all the tragedy that happened in this world. That is really sad, but one of the silver lining is these sessions. If not for COVID, we would probably not be sitting here today. And Swamiji had the vision to, have this all set up even before it happened. So it was like everything was ready and COVID came and these sessions just picked up like anything. And see, so much all of us are benefiting from it.
Trikala Gnani, and I just want to add one small point without taking much time. See, when you do sadhana in isolation, there are all chances of going in the wrong way, When you are doing the sadhana with the devotees, with the association of devotees, and we ask so many questions to Nitinji, if we are in the wrong path, he will bring us to the right path, or Swamiji, or any other mentor we have in JKU. So the best is to do sadhana together in association with the devotees. Thank you. Always, I'm sorry for taking a long time.
No, Champaji, it's always a pleasure to hear from you, and you give us very, very nice nuggets. So thank you so much for that. Yes, this association is very, very helpful because we make sure we pick each other up and keep each other inspired and make sure that the effect of Maya is minimized, for the rest of the day and for the rest of the routine that we have. So thank you very much for that. I mean, and we can see the benefits once we get into a routine with these sessions. Thank you for that, reinforcing that, Champaji. All right, real quick.
There are two comments in the chat, one from Aparnaji. These sessions involve talking about names, abodes, and leelas of God are Shyam Sundar.
Yeah, Naam, Kud, Leela, Dham, and Parikar. Yeah, I hope we cover all of them, right, from time to time.
And one more from Himangini ji. JKO, my family, where I have been able to learn and apply my spiritual journey, transform my life, and hugely indebted to JKO. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. All glories to Maharaj Ji and Swamiji for that. I can't believe how our lives would have been if not for this dimension that was so seamlessly added to our life. So I can't thank Swamiji enough for that, and Maharaj Ji for enabling us, like this. So great. Yes.
Two hands raised, or should we go to the devotional segment?
Okay, maybe one more real quick, and then we can go to the devotional segment because I know we have to wrap it up by 10:15, 10:20, no later than that.
Radhe Radhe Manoranjan ji.
Or Himani is
Yeah,
there.
Radhe Radhe, Namaskaram.
And then Himani's name is there in that singing list as well. So yes.
Yes, Manoranjan ji, yeah, we can hear you. Can you speak again?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for bringing this Bhakti Bhav to all of us. Because as in Vishnu Purana it is said that when Narad is asking to Lord Vishnu that, oh Lord, where do you reside? Lord Vishnu is saying that Achaham Tishtani Vaikunthe Yoginantayanacha Madhbhakta Jakta Gavanti Tishtami Narada. Lord Vishnu is saying that Narada, I am not staying, I am truly not staying. Neither I am staying in the hearts of yogis. I stay where my bhakta recites my name. So bhakti is very potent. It's potent by itself, so that it can have it can.
Yes.
God or your associate. So I'll end by saying a Kabir Doha. Allow me.
Sure.
Kabir is saying, Lali meri lal, dekho utlal. लाली देखन में गई हो गई लालम लाल कबीरा हो गई लालम लाल. And Kabir is saying that, oh Lord, you are full of red, right? And when I tried to see the red within you, I am also being ready.
Very nice. Reminds me of that Bollywood song also, Rang De Tu Mujhe Gerua, something like that, right? It's all about red. Very nice, Manoranjan ji. Yes, Himani, you had a question as well.
Devotional segment.
Oh, devotional segment. All right. So let's spin and see what happens. But regardless, because you have raised your hand, you will get a chance. Okay. But I like to spin the wheel as well. And we are going to swap it with Himani, whoever comes. Himani and Shyamji. Okay. You are very close by. So Himani, you get the first chance. And then Shyamji, are you ready? Or we have Swatiji and a couple of other hands as well. See, it was almost Himani, but I don't know why Shyamji's name came. Okay, Himani, go ahead. Shyamji, you get some time to prepare because you had given your name, right? So we can have Himani get started with it.
Okay, so I will sing Mata Rani song today.
Sure.
Okay. मैं तो माता के द्वार गई, मैं माता को भा गई, मैं तो मैया के द्वार गई, जो मांगा वो पा गई, मैं तो राधा के द्वार गई, मैं कान्हा को पा गई, मैं तो गई थी सोच के मन में, दुख ही दुख था इस जीवन में, मैं तो विपदा की मारी गई, जो मांगा वो पा गई, मैं तो माता के द्वार गई, मैं माता को भा गई, आन बसी है मेरी नैया, कर दो दया अब मेरी मैया, मैं तो कष्टों से घबरा गई, जो मांगा वो पा गई, मैं तो माता के द्वार गई, मैं माता को भा गई, तुम ही दुर्गा तुम हो भवानी, तुमको कहे सब माता रानी, सभी दुखियों के कष्ट हरी, जो मांगा वो पा गई, मैं तो माता के द्वार गई, मैं माता को भा गई, मैं तो माता के द्वार गई, मैं माता को भा गई, मैं तो मैया के द्वार गई, जो मांगा सो पा गई, मैं कान्हा को भा गई, जो मांगा सो पा गई, मैं माता को भा गई.
Beautiful, Himani. That was so melodious. You got a microphone voice, and without microphone, you don't need a microphone actually. It was so vibrant and so devotional. Loved it. I think you should accompany us to Vaishno Devi as well. This would be a good one to sing along the way. Loved it.
So in opera, we actually cannot use microphone. So in the
Yeah.
entire big hall, we sing without a microphone. So we are trained to have a huge projection.
Yeah, yeah, we could sense that, that vibrancy is there in your voice because of your opera training, but loved it. Very nicely sung. Beautiful. A lot of hearts and claps coming your way, Himani. So thank you so much for that. I know you couldn't get an opportunity on our 2-year celebration, but I'm glad you did today. Loved it. So, Shyamji, you have a choice, and Swatiji has raised her hand, so we can give Swatiji a chance, and then your name has come. So are you ready, Shyamji, after Swatiji? Okay, we'll do 3, Swatiji and Shyamji, and then we'll wrap up today's session.
There is a comment in the chat that can we publish a recording of this song? Yeah,
Sure. I think our team has taken note of it, and Himani will be all over our portal very soon. Very nicely sung. Thank you, Himani. Yes, Swatiji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I'll sing one Aarti. It's from the movie, but it's very nice and all very like we can do Rupdhan in that also. It's like
Sure.
that. Okay. राधे कृष्ण की ज्योत अलौकिक तीनों लोकों में छाए रही है। भक्ति विवश एक प्रेम पुजारन फिर भी दीप जलाए रही है। कृष्ण को गोकुल से राधे को, कृष्ण को गोकुल से राधे को बरसाने से बुलाए रही है। दोनों करो स्वीकार, कृपा कर जोगन आरती गाए रही। दोनों करो स्वीकार, कृपा कर जोगन आरती गाए रही है। भोर भय ते सांझ ढले तक सेवा को नित नेम हमारो। स्नान कराए वो वस्त्र ओढ़ाए, भोग लगाए वो लागत प्यारो। कब ते निहारत आपकी ओर, कब ते निहारत आपकी ओर, कि आप हमारे और निहारो। राधे कृष्ण हमारे धाम को जाने वृंदावन धाम पधारो। राधे कृष्ण हमारे धाम को जाने वृंदावन धाम पधारो। राधे कृष्ण की ज्योत अलौकिक तीन लोक में छाई रही है। भक्ति विवश एक प्रेम पुजारन फिर भी दीप जलाए रही है। थैंक यू राधे राधे।
Thank you
Sorry
very
for
much.
some mistake.
I think it's from that Krishna serial by Ramanand Sagar, right?
No, it was a movie.
Movie. I think
Viva,
the tune
Viva
is
movie. Viva movie.
maybe
Yeah.
the song sound is pretty similar to how it was in that serial.
Ah,
because
tune may be similar. Yeah.
It
very
is in
nice.
the serial as well.
Thank you so much
It
for
is in
that.
the serial as well.
That serial also, right? It reminds me of one line in that सोच समझ कर सौदा कीजिए, ये नंद का लाल बड़ा व्यापारी. So basically, Nand ka Lal, Krishna is big time merchant. So सोच समझ के सौदा करो, because he'll keep throwing candies your way. We'll
But
stop
I
at this
like
candy, that candy. So yeah, that
I
tune.
like the most one. I like this, that this is also my dham. You come here. This, you think this as a Vrindavan dham. I'm come to my dham wherever I am. That I
Beautiful
like
song.
the most. Thank you, Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much. Loved it. Very devotional. All right. Now, last but not the least, Shyamji for the day. And we'll spin the wheel again next time. By the way, tomorrow there's no session. Just a reminder, I'll send tomorrow as well. And come us and we can meet at Lohri tomorrow. Sarsu ka saag, I hope. That's what's going to be there. So come over. Not you, Shyamji. You'll have to stay patient for a little bit more. But yes, you get an opportunity to sing. Go ahead, please.
ये सब इतना अच्छा अच्छा गा रहे हैं, मेरी तो हार्ट बीट ही भाग रही है बहुत जोर जोर से। अब मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा मैं क्या करूं।
आपके भाव will make up for it. आप बोलिए, गाइए.
जी नितिन भाई, शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत मेरा नाम निकालने के लिए। तुम साथ हो जो मेरे, किस चीज की कमी है, किसी और चीज की अब दरकार ही नहीं है। तेरे साथ से गुलाम अब गुलफाम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम कन्हैया, मेरा नाम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है। पतवार के बिना ही मेरी नाव चल रही है। हैरान है जमाना, मंजिल भी मिल रही है। हैरान है जमाना, मंजिल भी मिल रही है। करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, सब काम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है मेरा आपकी कृपा से। मैं तो नहीं हूँ काबिल तेरा पार कैसे पाऊं। मैं तो नहीं हूँ काबिल तेरा पार कैसे पाऊं। टूटी हुई वाणी से गुणगान कैसे गाऊं। टूटी हुई वाणी से गुणगान कैसे गाऊं। तेरी प्रेरणा से ही अब तेरी प्रेरणा से ही अब ये कमाल हो रहा है। तेरी प्रेरणा से ही अब कमाल हो रहा है। करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा काम हो रहा है। तूफान आंधियों में तूने ही मुझको थामा। तूफान आंधियों में तूने ही मुझको थामा। तुम कृष्ण बन के आए मैं जब बना सुदामा। तुम कृष्ण बन के आए मैं जब बना सुदामा। तेरे कर्म से ही अब ये तेरे कर्म से ही अब ये सरेआम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। मेरा आपकी कृपा से। राधे राधे भाई।
Very nice, Shyamji. You have memorized it by heart. It seems like that's the story of my life every day. And I love this bhajan. Very beautifully
Same,
recited. A lot
same
of
here. It's just Krishna, what he is doing with me, I do not know. But ठीक है, that's the way he's.
what he's doing only he knows, and what he does is usually the best. Okay, so that's how it goes. We just
He's
have
the
to.
best.
Great, Shyamji. So that was a perfect end to another engaging session. And I look forward to seeing you at Lohri or next week. Stay safe, stay blessed, and thank you again for all the wonderful participation like you always do. So thank you again. Radhe Radhe from my side.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nitin.
Radhe Radhe.
All right. Good night. Good day, everybody. Thank you, everyone.